Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ask Ira and Lisa. Lisa's not here today. We'll get to that in just a second. Job Seeker Q&A. My name is Ira Bowman. I am your host with my fill-in co-host today, James Kennedy, coming from the other side of the pond. Welcome to the show, James.
Hi, Ira, and thank you very much for having me.
Hey, dude, you're doing me such a favor. I found out when I woke up this morning that my co-host came down with COVID. So she feels like her head's gonna explode. I'm like, you cannot go on air feeling like that. I was gonna give her some crap because my friend Lisa, first of all, well, there's lots of things I want to say. Okay, first of all, I think she got COVID. She thinks she came down with COVID at the YMCA, and I was gonna do the YMCA. No, that okay. But also, my friend is a huge Tom Brady fan, and I am a lifelong Raiders fan. And anyways, this week it came out that the Raiders, actually Tom Brady was set to come play for the Raiders, and that infamous quote that he had that you're going to keep that MRFer, he was talking about Derek Carr, which is my Raiders quarterback, who I love. Anyways, I was going to give her some crap. So James, I can't give that to you because I don't even know if you're in England, right? You probably don't even care about football. At least
Different
not
different type
what
of
we call.
football for us.
Yeah, what we call football. I know you guys probably like soccer better. Who's your favorite soccer team?
So I'm a Chelsea supporter.
Chelsea. Okay. Are they for sale?
They've been bought out by an American, so you guys are coming over this side.
All right. Well, we do that. We do that sometimes. We got some. Okay. What we have to do on the show, guys, it's totally fine that you're looking for a job, and I will put your comments up like this, so it'll help give you visibility, which is cool. But if you have a question that James and I can help answer, so if you can phrase them in the form of questions, that would be better for us. Just we don't know how to help you, but welcome from Zimbabwe. That is awesome that you're coming in. We got another guy. Ali's looking for opportunities in the telecom field. Can you please help me? We sure can. Now, one thing that we do on the show, if you want, but you have to give me permission. If you say, hey, Ira, or hey, James, right? Don't ask Lisa. Lisa can't do it today. But say, hey, guys, can you do a free LinkedIn profile review? We will do that. In fact, what we'll do, I'm going to switch the view here real quick. We'll bring up your LinkedIn profile. Oh, I just clicked on the wrong one. James turned into Daniel. Okay, here we go. This is James Kennedy. By the way, if you're not following James, I'm going to add this link to the comments right now. Go ahead and click the follow button on my buddy James. All right, so click on that thing, hit the follow button, or
Much
you
appreciated.
can hit connect and say, hey, I saw you on the Ask Ira and Lisa show. And I'd love to connect. James is a resume CV writer. Okay. But he's much more than that. He can help you find a job. Okay. Now, his services are not free, but it's free today on this show. So you
Yep.
can ask him questions on the show for free, but you'd be wise to follow him. So follow him there. But if James is a job seeker, we would ask him, what the heck is this, James? Right? We would say that. And
Most definitely. Most
yeah, and
definitely.
we'd go through the profile. So if you guys want a free profile review, then please go ahead and give us permission, and we will do that for you.
Yep.
All right. And hello, I'm Courage joining in from Ghana. Welcome from West Africa. Love it. I want to get out there and visit. James, have you ever been to West Africa?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
It's on my thing. It's on my list of things to do. I definitely want to get out there. I have a lot of um, people that I know from Ghana and Nigeria. I'd like to get out there and say hello and meet them. This is one of my former interns. She is a rock star, Sabrina L. Smith. Sabrina is a virtual assistant, I believe, looking for clients. So if y'all are looking for a virtual assistant, reach out to Sabrina. And if you need a recommendation, she's somebody that I can personally vouch for. You can call me and ask me anything you like about Sabrina, and I can help you answer that. She is a star for sure. I am Ambola from Nigeria. I'd like you guys to help me review my LinkedIn profile. Excellent. That's how you do it. It's our first. This is our first gig here. Okay, so I'm gonna get him. I just gotta wait for it to show up on my LinkedIn screen here. Give me just a second as we're doing that. All right, here we go. We got a question. Can you help out a person with a felony get a good job? Sure. There are plenty of excuse me, there are plenty of ways for a person with a felony to get a job. Of course, it's going to depend a little bit on what the felony was for, what type of work you're looking for, and how long ago the felony was. But James, if you want to tackle that, we'll let you go. That I still don't have Ambidola's um, profile up on here. So let me see if I can find that while you're talking.
So, Jerry, obviously, you got a felony, and all of us have mistakes and all these things. My point about it when I speak to people is that you want to, when you start your conversation, you start your resume, start your cover letter, and all those sort of things. You want to show the company the value of what you can do for them, so that you're leading the conversation away from the felony, which is still there, and in most jobs you're going to have to declare it anyway. But you want to show all the other great things that you've learned, and we all make mistakes, right? And some pay for it more than others with a felony and it's a record, but show them what else you've done as well, right? And lead the conversation where you want it to go. Because you can't get away from that, but at least you can lead the conversation where you want to go. And that's just what I wanted to add for that now. Ira, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, the other thing there, letters of recommendation,
Mm,
referral from people that are upstanding in the community. So, like pastors of churches would be good ones, or directors of philanthropy projects, nonprofit projects, stuff like that. So, you can rehabilitate your career. There are certain things like, I mean, look, if you just got out, there are programs. So, find a program would be my suggestion, right? Look for programs to help. But if you're talking a felony 6 years ago, 7 years ago, there's some time and distance between it. You can show them too. Like, I would even suggest what books you've read, what things that you've done, counseling, all those things can be given as, you can offer them up. You can actually lead with it even in your cover letter. If you know you're going to get asked if you have a criminal history, and that's the thing that you're like, man, I'm qualified for this job. I know I could do it. They would like my experience, but I've got this, ball and chain around my ankle, right? I would lead with it in the cover letter. I'd be like, look, I just radicate. I want to get something out in the open. It's kind of embarrassing, but I had this past indiscretion in my life, and I need to. But we're all human beings. Most of us are willing to give a second chance, right?
mm,
Especially if you're not trying to hide from it, and you've done some work to rehabilitate yourself. You've gotten some help, and if you have those referrals, again, those are gold, right? Because now you're borrowing some of the credibility of the other people. So those are all things that could help. If you have a specific question that you don't want to necessarily make public, Jerry, go ahead and reach out to me privately. Send me a direct message. I'd be happy to help you. I have helped other people. Um, Before I lived where I live now, I lived up in the Bay Area, and I worked with a program called The Ranch. And The Ranch with people that they were coming out of jail. And so I would help them like write the resume and give them some career advice. So, if you have something that maybe is a little bit embarrassing to put out there on TV here, then go ahead and send it to me privately. I'd be happy to give you some help if I can. All right. We're going to move on now. Danish from South Africa, please assist with my LinkedIn profile. Very good. We're going to do I don't know how to say this. I don't want to butcher the name. We're going to do this one first, and we'll come to you next. All right, hang on just a second. All right. So, actually, James, I'm going to let you go first, but we just talked about this in my opening smart alecky about you. So, for any of you watching, if you don't know, what we're going to do here is we're going to do a free LinkedIn profile review. And we're going to give Abimbola, I'm probably mispronouncing that, and I apologize. We're going to give him some free advice on what he can do to help clean up his LinkedIn profile and help him get a job faster. So let me know if you want me to scroll up or whatever, brother. And
so the first thing, so I'm going to have a go at this. I think it says Abimbola. That's okay. So hopefully I said your name okay and
I
gave it
think you did it
justice.
better, but I think you did it better than I did, James. Good job.
Right. So I'm looking at this as from a hiring manager's perspective. I see fintech, agency banking, merchant acquisition, digital payment, and all these sort of things. Okay. And it's for me, when I look at this, it's like these are all the different things you can do. But it's like, yeah, but what does Abimbola really want to do? Okay. Because we all make an impression like this quickly. I don't know from there, for example, if you're looking for a job, I don't know whether at this page whether you're currently in a job or not a job. But my question is, why is the green banner not there? Look, open to work
Yeah,
if you're
open to
looking
work.
for a job.
That's a frame that all of you can add for free, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So because everyone's busy and there's so many people looking for jobs. So me looking at this, make the hiring manager, the recruiter's job easier. What exactly are you looking for? Okay. I see so many people with so many job titles that they can do. But for me is I'm looking at this and like, this is confusing. I don't know exactly what they're looking for. So tell me.
All right. Now, James was being nice to you because he didn't address the very first problem that I have even
Well,
before
I
I
have the
go.
same problem as well,
Yeah,
Ira, so I couldn't go there.
before I get to the header, look, I do this every once in a while. I'm gonna show you mine, and then I'm gonna show you another one that I created for a job seeker. He actually has a job now, but oh, actually I can't because it's gonna do that. Never mind. I can't show you that like I normally would, but you know what? Let's go to this is actually my cousin. All right. But when my cousin was looking for a job, and he's working now for the state of California, I believe it's the state of California, but it might be the county actually. But, anyways, there it says right there, Department of Water. Okay. Before he got this job, he was a job seeker, and I redid his I redid his profile photo for him, and we redid his cover photo. And here's the main thing that we wanted to communicate: his skill set. Like, what's he really good at, right? So if an employer was looking for a certain thing in a culture, right, looking for people who are good at communicating, rapport building, training, and analyzing data, right, we said it simply, and then down in the about section we expanded on it. But you have to remember that the average profile view on LinkedIn is just 6 seconds. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like you got to catch their attention really fast. So one thing that I've started to adjust after I worked with Anthony, and it wouldn't work for him now. This, by the way, is a skyline of where he lives. This is where he wanted to work. So the whole point of this was now they know you're local, right? You're not trying to move from another place. You're already there. So we're establishing local and we're letting them know what they're good at in the cover photo. This is one way to do it. But one thing that I've adjusted, we did this a couple years ago. One thing that I have adjusted since then is I'm putting right here, open to new opportunities or looking for, to James' point, what type of job are you looking for, right? Looking for customer service rep, looking for fintech manager, whatever it is, just spell it out right there. And you might want to put, if you have like a resume profile, it's not really a website. It might be like you have a web page that's dedicated to you, right? So it could be, on your Project Help You Grow profile, right? It could be anything like that, where you go, you can come here and get even more information about me. Maybe you can see a resume, something like that. You might want to put that link in there too, if you have something like that. If you don't, no problem. But that's just the cover letter, or I'm sorry, the cover photo is the most valuable real estate on all of LinkedIn because words take time to process. They say a good picture is worth 1,000 words, and it actually might be worth more than that, only because its ability to communicate so fast, right? Now, the other thing I want to talk about before we move on, I don't mind this picture. I don't like the angle, though, and I don't like how small your face is. I want to show you the difference between Anthony Norman and Abimbola. I don't know if I said that right. I'm probably still butchering it. But here's what I would do. You can take the same picture if you don't have another one and zoom in. I want to see more of your face. And here's why I recommend this. This has to do with the interview process. When you get to the interview process, you want them to feel like they already know you. You already have a little bit of rapport built with them, and you want that to be good. Because you're so far away, I really can't see your face too good. And honestly, the lighting is not great because your face, you have darker skin, and the lighting is kind of washing out the features of your face. So if I saw you in person, I might not recognize you, right? And this picture is not a professional picture, even though, he's dressed nice, right? And we did try to tweak the lighting to show off more of his face, but he's got raccoon eyes there because of the shadow, right? It's not a professional picture. You can use a selfie. But what I suggest, James, and you let me know if you think that this is correct, but I recommend just the proportions that you see here, a little bit above the head and down to the shoulders. I don't need to see the whole suit, right? You can tell that Anthony's dressed up here, right? But he's smiling and you can see his face. When he walks into the room, you can recognize him, and that's what you want, okay? Now, the other part, and Anthony has changed this since he got this job, but we had done something. Now, I'm going to disagree with James a little bit,
Okay.
and here's why. On this part, what we call the header, the headline, right? I think the thing to use it for is pretty much what Amiable has done, and here's why. Because if people don't know you, but they want to find somebody who does what you do, what you want to do is fill that up with the keywords that they would be searching for right here, right? So they would go in and type in account manager or digital payments or whatever, and you would come up in the list. Now, how do you get to the top of the list? This is something that most people don't pay attention to, but you really need to do. You need to make sure in your job experience, like in these headings, what they call heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 in the web development world, we want to add those words in there too. We want to get a frequency rate up, our count of these words up. And then you also want to come down here and make sure you've got 19 skills listed,
Yep.
but there's 50 total. Make sure you
Yes.
have all those in your skills and you're getting endorsements for those. And then the biggest one, which you don't have any here, which this is a big problem. You need to get people to give you the recommendations on LinkedIn. Okay. Have them write a recommendation like, hey, Abimbola is really good at fintech. I worked with him here and he is awesome at it. Right. So that when they do a deep dive into your LinkedIn profile, they see it's supported, because this could be, oops, that's not what I was trying to do. Sorry. This can be considered keyword stuffing if they
Okay.
look down and don't see it supported.
Right.
Right. So you want to be found by people who don't know you. This is how they're going to find you with these terms. So for the people out there who write a sentence and are a job seeker, you're not getting discovered as much. That's your key to getting boosted in the algorithm results, not for the feed, but for the search for that type of person. So if you have these here and you put right here, looking for this kind of job, and maybe, okay, so the people that are looking to move and go somewhere else, let's say you're in Ghana and you want to get a job in South Africa. You could say right here, looking for fintech opportunities in South Africa in your cover photo. And now you've got this stuff here, and now you've answered everything. They know you're available, they know what you're good at, and they know where you want to work.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, we took a little bit of time on that, but hopefully that helps the audience, because I know these questions are coming. All right.
Yeah. So, Ira,
So
can I just add to that quickly?
yeah, of course.
I just note that obviously Abimbola has 207 connections, and I said connect with more people, right?
That's
And the
great.
other thing is, if you're starting off and you don't have any recommendations yet, do recommendations for your colleagues, right? Because it's a reciprocity is the word I'm trying to think of, right? When you do something nice for others, they're more likely to do it for you. And so when you know people that you already work with, you start doing recommendations for them, they're going to more likely want to do something back and hopefully give you a recommendation back as well.
100%. I can't believe I missed it. That is a great pickup. Yeah. You guys, there are 30,000 open slots. You can connect with 30,000 people on LinkedIn, right? And I use this analogy. If you had an engine in your vehicle that was able to go 30,000 horsepower, but you were only using 207 horsepower, would you be proud of that fact, or would you feel embarrassed? Like, I can't believe I'm only using, I think that's 0.05%, right? I mean, it's very, very little of the overall capacity. You want to use this thing to its maximum, especially if you're a job seeker. The more eyeballs you get on yourself, the better auspiciously you should have a higher chance of landing a job faster. All right. So we're going to keep going. We've got a similar issue here. So this review probably won't take quite as long, but here we go. So Danish has asked us to do a profile review. And James, you're up.
So again, I like the profile photo. He's it's much closer than the one before as well.
Yeah, you can
Um,
face for sure.
very close to the 500 connections, so that's good. That's also good as well. Yeah, payroll cash book administrator. I'm sure, Dinesh, that you're more than just that, or is that just the types of roles you're looking for? That's why I'm looking at that. So
No,
payroll
you
administrator.
can, and then, like we said, you can answer that
Yeah,
right here.
yeah.
And you're in South Africa. Do you want to stay there? So are you looking to work in South Africa? I mean, that's something that you might want to go to Canva. I didn't tell this last time, but for these photos, you don't have to be a graphic designer to make a
Mm,
good one. You can go to Canva, which is just canva.com, and you can make it. They have a LinkedIn cover photo template already established. So they have the proportions already, and you can insert a photo, you can type some words and use the text that you like. The one thing I will suggest is try not to put anything right here on the photo that's important, because it's going to be
okay.
covered up, obviously, by the profile photo. So put the most important things here in the center or over on the right, and that way it'll always be visible. Okay. All right, let's scroll down. So he's got 429 connections. So far, we're telling you to adjust the cover photo and maybe add a little bit extra here. Those are the two things. You have 429 connections, which is better than 207, but you can still have a
Yeah,
lot left, right? You have
yeah,
29,571 open slots. Fill as many as possible. All right. Experience. So 1 year, 4 months on the job. You're probably going to need to address that in an interview. So be prepared. Why are you looking to switch so soon
yep,
after only being there for 1 year, 4 months? Anybody is going to ask you that. Everybody's going to ask you that, right? But here you stayed for 2 years, 11 months, which was much better, right? 3 years. A 3 year stop anymore is about average. So anything under 3 years, they're going to ask you why you're switching so soon. At 3 years or old or more, they're going to be like, okay, no big deal. This one was only 3 months. What do you think about these? So 3 months and 11 months. I would suggest potentially dropping these off because they're so short. But what do you think about that, James?
yeah. I mean, I guess the question is there. If you deleted them, Ira, there's the job you had before was 9 years, 6 months, right? And it ended in December. So then the question is, if he doesn't put in these two dates in here, what was he do? What was he doing between December 25th? And now that's assuming that someone does a deep dive as much as that to try and figure out what was he doing in and all,
Yeah,
what was happening in there.
and they may or may not care. But
Yeah,
what you're talking about is what we call a gap, right? A time
mm,
gap.
yeah,
Um, the problem that you can have, right? I mean, let's just rip the band-aid completely off here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs that we're seeing right now on the board without hitting the show all experiences, right?
yeah,
3 of the jobs are really, really short. 11 months, 3 months, and 1 year, 4 months. So what this can imply is that this guy's a job hopper. Is that because he's the problem? Is it because he hasn't quite figured out what he wants to do? So the reason why I would recommend, especially this one, at least this one, 3 months. The only reason to leave this on here is if this was the only experience you had in that, and that was something
gotcha.
that you were trying. You know what I mean? And you can basically say it was like an internship,
Mm,
right? Now you don't want to lie, but that's kind of my thought process. But as a job seeker, as a hiring manager, this is a big red flag to me, right? You got 2 back-to-backs, which is boom, boom. The only thing, like I said, this helps because you were there for 3 years. I'm okay with that.
yeah,
But now I'm following it up with a 1 year, 4 months, and you know what I mean. What is going on in this guy's life? That's what I'm thinking. Now I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but I just want to let you know how we think. I hire people all the time. That's the kind of thought process that I have when I'm looking at this resume. If I take these two off, what's it going to do? It's going to show me some of this. So let's see what this is. What do I pick up by deleting those? 1 year, 11 months. That's what I pick up. But 1 year, 11 months is still better than 11 months and 3 months. Okay. And bank teller, it looks like that's the kind of work that you're still trying to do. And it shows that you've been doing it for longer. So I still think that that's a better pickup, in my opinion. Again, this isn't necessarily the right answer. It's just that's just my opinion. So the cover photo for sure. Add some more to your headline. Work on getting those connections up still. Get those references that we were talking about because he doesn't have them either. In fact, let's pull this back up for just 1 second. He doesn't have the skills
about you. All right, yeah, skills and endorsements.
skills and endorsements turned on. So you definitely want to do that. That's free. That's free pickups. When you're looking, what do I mean by that, guys? What I mean by it is like this. We're gonna leave you, but let's say we were looking for somebody who was good at. Well, we'll do fintech because he has fintech in this thing, right? So we'll go fintech. The first thing it's gonna do is it's gonna populate a bunch of people that I'm not, connected to, because it's gonna assume that if I knew them already, I wouldn't be searching for fintech. I'd be searching for that person's name. That's why they do that, just in case you guys aren't sure. So these are all seconds and thirds. But how does it know who to put on top? Well, it uses a host of criterion. But the one that you can control is how many instances of that word are in your profile. So by having skills and endorsements on, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. But having skills and endorsements turned on, that gives you a point for every single time. Not you just have the word, but how many times you've been endorsed for it, right? So if you have fintech and you've been endorsed 10 times, that's plus 11, plus however many times you have it. So this guy, Andre Venezuela, if I was to click on his profile and look at it, which I won't because I don't have his permission, but if I did, I'll bet you he has it in there like 50 times. You know what I mean? Because he's at the top of the list. So that's how you get up on these lists, is you have to use the word. I'm not saying keyword stuff, but I'm saying use it wherever you can, where it makes sense. Get the endorsements. You can pick up words in the endorsements. You can pick up the words in the referrals. So anyways, make sure you guys are doing that. Let's go to the next comment. We've got people joining from Ghana. I think we showed that one. From Kerala. I don't know where that is. Is that in the Middle East? I'm not sure. Haven't heard of that one. Algeria, welcome. Can you please do my LinkedIn profile? Yes, we can, Courage. We will get on that right now. So sorry, I can only do one thing at a time here. All right. Well, I will let you go, brother. Let's have you just start this. So this is Courage. We're doing a LinkedIn profile review for him so we can help him find a job.
Yeah, so I can. So this is the first one out of the 3, and 4 if you included mine that has a nice background picture there, and that's interesting. That I want to find out more about it. Design and system support administrator. Again, we talked about there's 85 connections only at the moment. Courage. You need to be connecting and speaking to more people.
What do you think about this? Designer and system support administrator.
So for me, I'm a bit confused, to be honest, Ira, because obviously that's 2 different job roles in terms of a designer and a system support administrator.
That is a huge difference. That's
exactly.
night and day. So Courage, I think James is about to tell you the same thing I would tell you, like pick a lane, bro. What type of work are you looking for? And you need to put it up here and here. Yeah.
Because I can feel designer coming out. So what system support administrator doing in there? Because you're almost trying to show up all the job titles that you want to do, and actually you want to just show the one that you really want to do.
Yeah, and if you're going to go for support admin, these pictures need to change.
Yeah,
right.
Doesn't align.
And he doesn't have to open to work here, just so we cover that. 85. Yep. This is the shortest one we've seen so far, so we definitely need to work on that. Okay.
And Ira, if I just add to that, sometimes it can be it can be intimidating when you're starting out, just like, oh, who are these people and why should I connect to them and why would they accept me? We have this imposter syndrome going on. Okay, and I used to be like that until I watched Ira's TED Talk, which everyone should check out as
There
well.
you go.
And for me, very much what I do now is I follow and I connect with people that I resonate with. So
Yeah,
basically, I'm scrolling articles, I'm scrolling things, or I check out people's profile and I see either what I like about them, okay, or something we have in common, and I add that in the post. And it's like, hey, I really like this article, or hey, I see we both from similar backgrounds. I would really like to connect. Right?
yeah. Let
Nine
me.
times out of 10, I get accepted. Some they don't. When I said, okay, it's not a problem, but you're
Yeah.
still making the initiative to ask.
But and let's just talk about this real fast. You don't know people, and I know I look. I totally get the concept stranger danger. We're all
Yeah.
taught you don't connect with people you don't know, but LinkedIn is not the place where you're trying to keep secrets. LinkedIn is the place where you're trying to share professional things. You're not sharing pictures of your kids and talking about private stuff for the most part. I know some people do that. That's fine. That's their prerogative. But for the most of us, we're keeping it professional. And LinkedIn is a place where we want to share our professional accomplishments. We want to ask for professional help. Those things find other people to either work for, clients, investors, I mean, all kinds of stuff, but it's professional. So what are you keeping a secret? Right? Probably not much. So what I say is this: naturally, we only know so many people. 50 people, 100 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, if you know a lot of people, but most people don't know more than 1,000 people, right? So at best, you connect with everybody you know, that's 1,000 people. Now you still got 29,000 open slots. How do you fill those slots to make the most out of LinkedIn? Well, here's what you do. You engage with people in the comments of posts, like James just said. That's something that I preach all the time on LinkedIn. In fact, I preach it on every social media platform because it works everywhere. Be friendly and you will make friends. But here's the thing: it's not where you start when you connect, it's where you take it after you connect. So just because you don't know James right now doesn't mean that you and James can't become good friends. Look, James and I have only known each other, I think it's been like 4 months,
Yep.
something like that, right?
Yep.
And look, James today got an invitation. He was the only one I reached out to and said, hey, would you mind being a guest co host for me today? Why did I do that? Because I know James is a subject matter expert on resumes. That's why. And I thought our personalities are a little bit different, but they would work well together. So there you go. That's why he got it. But if he and I didn't engage over the last 4 months, he wouldn't have got the invitation.
Yep.
You don't know where that connection is going to take you. Because when James and I connected, it wasn't about anything to do with this show, right? It had nothing to do with this show. He hired me, in full disclosure, he hired me to design a logo for his business,
Yep.
which I did. And I love it. It's a lot of fun. We should show it. I'll pull it up. But here's the thing. You get a connection request from somebody you don't know. I would say the default should be accept it. And then if they spam you or if they do something that irritate you, then fine, you can disconnect. It's not like, and I said this in my TED talk, James, it's
Yep.
not a marriage contract, right? Once you accept them, you're not stuck with them for life. You can unfollow, you can unfriend, you can do that thing. So try to make as many friends as you can. Don't be like, oh, I've never heard of that person before and be standoffish. I would say your default should be yes. And it's totally fine to look at their profile and look at a little bit at their activities and kind of see what they're about. And if you don't want to connect with them, then don't. But for more than not, I would say go ahead and connect and see what happens, because you don't know what the future, where it's going to take you. All right. So let's go back to, we kind of stopped in the middle, but I wanted to address that. So the 85, this is to me the biggest hole right now, even bigger than not which lane. But this is a big thing, right? So connect with people and fix this. You have to decide, courage, which way am I going? And then, like I said, if it's designer, which it looks like it should be, then let's go designer and say right here, open to designer roles. Again, location if you want to. All right. Let's see what we got here. We got, again, I'm not seeing about sections from any of these folks.
So I was going to say that I was.
Oh, here we go.
I don't
Here we
see
go.
any. Okay.
Here it is. All right. Now, I like this link tree. This is actually what I was talking about before. So you could take this in Canva. Now it won't be clickable, right? But I would put that if you want. Put find me all over the internet right here. You know what I mean? You want to make it easy for people to find you, then do that. Linktree is cool. I also use one called Social Tap. It's social without the L, TAP. Same thing as Linktree, basically. Um, but I use it because I met the owner, the CEO, and I interviewed him on one of my shows, and so I use this product. What do we got here? That's just activity. All right, experience. Okay, here we go. Now, this is not too bad because it says freelance. Most of us are intelligent enough to know that that just means you're taking jobs probably like on Fiverr and things like that. Okay. So, but this does kind of say then that I'm looking in the graphic designer space. All right.
Mhm.
The fact that you have a GIF here is pretty cool too, by the way. I like that. As a designer, I appreciate that. Um, Senior brand strategist. This was a contract position, only 6 months, but again, because it was contract and it was 6 months, I'm okay with that. Love this here. Again, to the last one, right? Ooh, he did 4 years, 6 months there, and 4 years, 6 months here. So that's really good. This one here, well, it was an internship. So again, he's got
Yep.
some short stops, James, but I'm not worried about those because of the way they, right? Internship, contract, freelance.
Yeah.
I'm okay with those. I'm confused here. This confuses me a little bit, the way he's got this written out. So it looks like this is the same job, right? But inside it, this is what he was
Yeah.
doing.
2 different
Two
roles.
different roles, but only 5 months. So here's 5 months. It looks like
Yeah.
one of these is incorrect. That,
Yeah.
that's
Gotcha.
a red flag, just so you know. Courage. You want to fix that. So if this was only 2 months, but if you did this the whole time and you did that for only 3 months at a time, be prepared to either address that. Well, I mean, it is kind of old.
Yeah.
I This is something I might just take off. I might just delete this because there's nothing before that, right?
Yep.
And it's only 5 months. I don't think this is really going to help you out. I think if it was me, I would delete this one. You're not obligated to have every position you ever worked at on
No, you
LinkedIn.
don't. No, you get to choose what you want to.
Yeah, you're trying to build your case. So, all right, we got a bachelor's degree. That's really good, and it's current. That's cool. Like that. This is nice. He's got a license, right? Enterprise device thinking
Yep.
practitioner. That's cool. Love it. So,
Not enough
what do
skills.
yeah, not enough skills. There's 50 of them. Use all 50, everybody. Use all 50. And what do you think about this? We haven't talked about this yet, James. So you see, let's say they're not going for a support role, like customer service. I actually would leave this on. But for most roles, you're talking about someone who's going for sales or somebody that's going for all of a sudden my mind's blank, like a designer or something like that. Anything other than customer support role. They'll have like Outlook and Excel and Word, and I'm like,
Oh my
really?
gosh. Oh my god.
Why are you
That's
wasting
basic.
yeah, why are you wasting your skill on that? Get that stuff out of there. Like, I would rather
Yeah.
see time management, and I think time management for the most part is a waste too. But I would rather see something like that. At least now I know they're going to be on time. They're organized, right? So what I recommend, let me know what you think about this, but what I recommend people do with the skills is find those keywords that are in all the job descriptions that they're applying for and fill them with those. Because you already know that's what they're looking for. So it's all right. If I'm looking at going to be a designer and I see Illustrator and Photoshop and Premiere and Canva and fill in the blanks, right? Whatever else they might be putting out there. Um, I'm going to use those programs instead of the basic Outlook and Microsoft Excel or even PowerPoint as a designer. If you're using PowerPoint as a designer, you're not really a designer. I'm sorry. Right? You're letting PowerPoint come up with options and you're picking. Now, no offense to those of you who are not professional designers, but that's not what we do when we're creating your design work. We don't go to PowerPoint and go, hey, what kind of cool thing is this going to throw up for me? Right? You know what I mean? Anyways. All right, James, what do you think about
And
that?
and and Ira, just to add something to that, as well as what I try to say to people, I said, in general, people are lazy. So that Ira is actually doing a deep dive into all of this. But from my experience, is most people, they have that 6 seconds, right? So in terms of the skills, you also want to put the top three skills in there that
Yeah.
you want to be known for, because especially when you're endorsing, like I, for example, if I want to endorse some of my colleagues, I look for the top three that they've decided that's the top three of their skills, and then I endorse them for those, right?
Let me show
If
you.
I have time, I can open it up, but I want to see the top three skills that you want to be known for, because that's the ones that are going to be more likely to get endorsements on without
Yeah.
them clicking on the show all skills.
Yeah, this is me, okay? So right now the three that I have pinned is photography, Adobe Lightroom, and Adobe Illustrator. Now, those aren't necessarily the top three that I want to be known for, but I switched industries in 2020. I went from the print industry over to owning a digital marketing firm. A little bit different, even though there are parallels, a lot of parallels, which gave me the confidence to make the switch. But I didn't have photography, Adobe Lightroom, and Adobe Illustrator listed when I was working in the print realm. And now I do because I use these. So why did I pin these over the others? So if you go through my others, they're all 99 plus, except for WordPress. I lost a couple somehow. I think maybe I disconnected from people that, anyways, but these were all 99 plus. And so I'm like, okay, and you can see what I've got: online marketing and direct marketing and networking and email marketing, right? So these are the types of things that I'm talking about. Get stuff that will actually help you. Recruiting, hiring, that's part of the stuff we're talking about right now on the show. So the reason why I pinned these three is because I noticed that when you get endorsements from people, usually, James already said it, people are lazy. They're just going to hit the ones that you have pinned. So if you have a couple that, are newer and you want to get those endorsed, again, that's one of the things. If you're not job searching, this is easier because I'm not job searching, right? So it's easy for me to pin these three. But to James's point, and I absolutely love it when you're in a job search mode, and that's why you guys are watching this show, right? So we got 23 people watching this right now. Why are you those skills that are best going to put you forward as the top candidate? Why should they hire you? Are the ones that we're recommending. Both of us are recommending this because I love that idea, right? Pin those three. So if you're going out for designer, 3 design skills, right? Maybe it is Illustrator. Maybe it is InDesign. Whatever your programs are, right? And there's different types of designs out there too, by the way. So anyways, take that for what it is. I think Courage, we gave you plenty to work with. Hello, Innocent. Welcome. Innocent's been it's been on the show before. Welcome. Please read my profile. We would be happy to do so. Carrie, let me get that right now. I was a little bit behind here. Oh, and Innocent wants a profile review too. I missed that. Innocent, we'll get you next. Oh, you're gonna like this one, Carrie. Already, I mean, I haven't even shared it, and I'm already like, this is pretty good. Okay,
Nice.
I'm gonna tell you that so far she's the champ. Like just
Yep.
straight out of the gate, Carrie, you're doing some things correct. So James, let me know when you want me to scroll, brother.
Well, so I'm just looking through, and I would, just like Ira says, the background picture just pulls me straight through it, and it stands out. Like, so when you see so many gray screens, and I know I have a gray screen at the moment, but when you see so many gray screens on the background, and like I said, that's valuable real estate that we need to use as well. Okay.
James, you're not a job seeker though, brother.
Yeah, no, I know, but I should
Yeah,
be using that as well. It's still,
that's a
as a
different.
business, you should be
No,
using
you
that real
should.
estate.
You should for sure. In fact, I'll make one for you, James. You're gonna get a free one. You're gonna get a free one from Ira because you helped me out today. So,
And thank you
but
for
I
that.
love this. I love this
Yeah,
right here. It's subtle, but it tells you exactly what she wants.
yeah,
Right? Boom. Executive HR search, interim HR leaders, expert HR consulting, bench building is what that says. It's like
yeah,
perfect. I wouldn't change a
yeah.
dang thing about that.
Nope, nope. And I want to add as well that I love the fact that Carrie is smiling, okay? Because our
Yes.
face, as Ira said earlier, is Our picture tells 1,000 words plus, right? And the thing about this, when I say to people, especially from a job seeker, right? People are hiring people.
Yeah.
Okay. So a face, if you're smiling, you look confident, right? Who wouldn't want to work with a smiling, confident, positive looking person as well?
Look,
Okay.
and it's not like stuffy.
Yeah.
She's got a non-traditional pose as a photographer. I'm loving this photo. Now, I would love to edit this photo. I would, if I had taken it, I would do so. I would because it's me, right? But as far as a profile photo goes, like she's got the perfect, like I said, the top of the head to the shoulders. She's got the smile. She's looking right into the camera. That's the other thing. Some of you are looking off, and I don't want you to do that. James, what do you think about this? My thought with the eyeballs is if you're looking off camera, it's like you're being aloof a little bit, and
Yeah.
I can't trust you. It's
it, it's
subtle.
it's it's confidence, right?
Yeah.
As you say, it's all about confidence, right? And I want to hire, especially for a business, right? Because it's a business, not a charity, and I'm not giving work out for free and paying people for free. I want to be hiring confident people that looks me in the eye, deals with problems, and smile. Because why would not have some fun at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so helping human resources professionals land their dream jobs. Now, this is where I do have a little bit of an issue. My first issue, James, you probably do too. Here, it doesn't say that she's actually looking for work. Now, I don't know, maybe she isn't, but if she is, somewhere here we need to communicate, either in the cover photo or here, that we are actually looking for work. Unless you were to, she probably doesn't want to use the green open to work thing here because of the picture. She would have to change the proportions a little bit. You would have to zoom back to give room for the banner so it doesn't cover your face. You don't want the open to network. You don't want that to cover your face. Okay. So for those of you that have it covering your chin or whatever, you need to zoom out on the photo. But right here, you have the room to say open to new opportunities, looking for work in the greater Grand Forks area. I'm not sure where that is, but anyways, right? You could definitely do that. So there's my suggestion. And this is a sentence again. As a job seeker, if you are truly a job seeker, I would change the sentence and put in, again, I've explained why already. If you guys haven't seen it, go back, review the tape. But you want to put in the keywords that people are using in the search bar to find somebody who does what you do, but they don't know you, right? Because most people, recruiters, don't know you. They're looking for people who do what you do. You got to help them find you. So that's why I suggest that. Even though I love this. Now, if you're hired or you're freelancing or you're a business owner and you're looking for clients, then your statement there is perfect, right? Like, I'm not mad at this. If you already have a job that you're happy with, or you're a business owner and you're looking for clients, this is great because now you're telling people how you can help them. And when you're not in the job seeker spot, but you're in a role that you're happy with, or you're a business owner looking for clients, telling people how you help them is a really good thing to do there. So again, the advice is for you're in different categories at different times on LinkedIn. So do what makes sense at the time for the journey where you are. Live in the present, right? Anything else you want to say about that one, James?
No, that's it. Thanks.
Okay, let's look at, she's got an about section. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, she got a lot. The secret to success concealed in love in your work. Like that. You might actually want to put that up at the top. The one thing I will say about all of these, let me know what you think, James, but the world is like instant gratification these days. Short, like they don't want to give you 30 seconds anymore.
Yeah.
So what I would say about this one is there's a lot there, even though, I mean, it's probably only like 300 words, but there's a lot there for an about section. You might want to try to change the way you formatted this, Carrie, and add bullet points would maybe be my suggestion, just to break it up a little, make it visually easy to like hit some of the key points. Because if they're not going to read it, if they're just going to scan it real quick, the bullet points would make it easier to digest. So that's my only thought about that. I am not going to take time to read this on the show. So there you go. James, if you have anything to add to that, I'm going to keep scrolling. She does have a featured section. Now, this is the first person that we've looked at. She's done a good job with her profile. She really has. So I'm being kind of picky here, but you're asking me for help. So there you go. But the featured section, if you guys don't know how to do this, you want to turn creator mode on. That's how you get this. And you can add, I'm not sure what this is. It looks like a post. and then you can add pictures. Wait, let's go back to let's go back to this one for a second. So my cousin, when he was a job seeker, he had all these photos. I'm like, do you have any photos of you training people in a corporate setting? And he goes, yeah. So what I did is I said, send me those photos. I made this collage for him so that he could basically give visual proof that he was good at training, right? It establishes credibility. It's easy to pick up because it's a picture. So what I would say for you, Carrie, or for anyone, when you're looking for work and you're trying to validate that you're good at this stuff, if you've got photos of you in action and you've got the feature section on, and if not, you just turn your creator mode on, put some pictures in there of you doing. I'm a visual guy. So for me, it's always going to come down to videos and photos, right? So, but that is something that you could do. And you might have them here already because I haven't scrolled through everything. This is like going through somebody's sock drawer, James. All this stuff. There we go. This is kind of fun. But these are all posts. So yeah, I would definitely get some more photos and maybe even a video. If we go to mine, I know it's kind of weird because, hang on a second. Oh, this is James. I don't want to change that one. Let's change this one. If we go to mine, one of the things that I did, and I recommend this for all of you guys, especially job seekers. So right now, my intro, this used to be the very first thing. I was running this event, which is now over, so I need to come and clean this up myself. But this is my TED Talk, which I really want people to see. So I had this first. But before I did my TED Talk, I did this one. And this is a 3-minute video of me introducing Bowman Digital Media because I'm not a job seeker. But what I would do as a job seeker is I would make an intro video, like a
yes, indeed, yes, indeed,
180 seconds of you just. Now they can see how you talk. They can get an idea of your personality and your professionalism. You don't want to make it too long. Nobody's going to watch it. But you can publish it on YouTube, private link, or unlisted if you don't want the whole world to see it. And then put it here, share it as the photo just for, the video. So people that are on your LinkedIn can see it if you want, like if you're worried about that. And you could do the same thing with Vimeo if you don't want to use YouTube. But anyways, videos can help you just like photos. But if you're really good at English, let's say, who was that? I think it was this one. I think it was. Hang on a second. Live TV, right? There we go, right? I think he had English listed. Am I right? No, it was someone else. Yeah, it was someone else. Okay, somebody had English listed as, maybe it was that one that I switched to Ambibola, maybe. Anyways, one of you guys had English listed, and it's like if you're in a country that doesn't speak English as their first language, right? They speak French or whatever they speak, and you're trying to get a job in an English country. You put out a video that shows you speaking in English. Now that answers that question, that satisfies that question before you even get interviewed. And it moves you up the stack because you're not thinking about it as a job seeker, but they're thinking about it. How are you going to fit into the culture of the company, right? Especially if you're looking for a foreign job. So if you're looking for a foreign job and you put up a video of you communicating in the language that they're going to communicate, because it doesn't have to be English, it could be another language, right? So if you're moving to Spain and you're going to put up a video of you speaking in Spanish, and if you have multiple languages, like let's say you speak French and German and English and Spanish, you might want to have 4 videos showing you speaking in each of the languages because that would strengthen you, especially if that is a multilingual type of a role, right? But anyways, also it'd just be super impressive. You are trying to get the wow factor.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add to that. I'm a big advocate for, what I call a value proposition on video. So you show people in this 180 seconds or a minute and a half about how to, what you can do for them, right? Because you got to look at it from a hiring manager and recruiter's perspective. They've got hundreds,
Say that
literally.
again for the people who didn't hear it. I mean, if I had a trumpet, I would blow it. Say that one more time.
So I was talking, Ira, about your value proposition, right? And
Yes.
in 180 seconds or less, because we're in the, give it to me quicker thing. No one's got
Yes.
time to read through two-page resumes, okay? So if you do a video with your value proposition, showing your personality, showing what you're looking for, showing what you can do for the company, and where you want to work,
Let
okay?
me let me hop in here too. This is not just for your video. This is also for your cover letter.
Yeah,
When you're writing your cover letter for this one job that you just are applying to, right? You just read the job description and you want to apply, you need a cover letter for one. I mean, anybody who says you don't need a cover letter now has not applied for a job in a while, right? Because I understand 10 years ago it wasn't common, but you need a cover letter. And in the cover letter, the main thing I want you to address is what James just said. How can you fill the hole that they have? They are advertising that position because they have a problem. They need somebody to address this problem. How can you best be the person to best fill the problem is what I suggest you write in that cover letter. And yes, you should rewrite a cover letter for every single job. It should not be a standardized form that you just sign, right?
yep, yep.
It needs to be personalized or customized for that specific role. These are how you're going to get elevated
Well,
above the herd. You want to
it's all
be
about standing out.
you want to be above the cut line. Because if they get 35 people and they're only interviewing 15, you don't want to be number 16. You know what I mean? So how do you separate yourself from the herd? This is one of the ways that you do it. The video is another way that you do it. If you take all the advice that we've given today and stack it all up, you got a much better shot of getting a job. Now, James, I don't know if you can stay. I told you 60 minutes. We've still got questions, so let's go through them real quick. We did a profile review for Danish,
Yeah.
and he said he's looking to relocate in Canada. I told you this. Look, before, in the green room, I told him that this was coming because I get this every single show. So, James, 30-second answer on some advice for Danish on how to relocate to Canada.
Ira, I just wanted to add that obviously I'm not expert on visas because foreign nationals going to another country will need a working visa.
Yeah,
Okay, and all I
yeah.
want to say to people is you need to show your value that's high enough that the company is willing to pay for your visa to come out there. Okay,
30,000 or so dollars. It's
yeah,
not cheap, y'all. This is something that actually costs some serious coin.
yeah.
So if you're being flippant about this, if this is just like, oh, it's like a dream, then you need to make a goal and plan it out. How can you do that? Let me share with you something I share every single time because this is just one of those things where there isn't a easy button. This is something that you have to really work for.
Yeah.
So how to land a job in a foreign country is a blog post that I wrote a few years back after I did an interview. I did an informational interview with my friend Juliana Robbie, who I think is the expert, one of the leading experts at this particular topic. I don't know anybody who knows more about this than she does, right? So I interviewed her several times and I wrote this blog based on our conversations. So here's some things that we covered: being flexible, taking a step back, applying at multinational companies. So in other words, if you want to work in Canada, find a company that they have an office where you are, because there's lots of companies like that, right? So you work for the company locally, and then after you're in for a while, you start talking to HR and seeing about how you can get transferred, because it's much easier to get transferred than to get hired out of the gate, right? Networking online and in person. So you're going to want to meet people that are there already, make friends with them, and then get their assistance over time. Don't have that be the leading thing. Like, hey, I want to work in Canada. Can you help me? Like, if I just met you, no. The answer is no. But if I've known you for a year or two and I like you, then yeah, I'll help you. I'll do what I can. Right? Makes sense. And make sure you're sending the CV or the resume and the cover letter that are written to the standard of the local area that you're applying to, because they're different. If I'm applying for a role that's in London, because I want to go move to London, I better be using the format that the recruiters and the companies are looking for in London, or I'm going to lose by default. I already am a step behind. You have to understand that. They're going to try to fill the role with people locally. It's just
Cheaper.
cheaper and it's
Yeah.
easier because of the cultural fit that you guys don't think about. You're like, oh, I'm totally qualified for that job. Great. But are you going to be one of these guys who gets the job and 6 months later you get homesick and you leave? And now I'm out all the money that I invested in you?
Yeah.
Right? There's a big risk there. So you're already a step behind by not being local. So you better be using the materials and everything else, done your homework. Because why? It proves that you're serious about this. This isn't just a flippant thing. The other thing that I would tell you is you need to go visit that place, not like a tourist, like you were living there. So rent an Airbnb house or apartment, get on the train, see about the commutes, go to the local shopping markets. Look, if you're a religious person, find your house of worship and do those things. Do some research on the ground, but don't just say, I want to move to Canada. Because you know what? The first thing that you telling me you want to relocate to Canada is you've not really thought about this. Because otherwise you would have said, I want to relocate to Montreal, or I want to relocate to Vancouver, or I want to relocate to Toronto, or you would name a city, not a country. You know how big Canada is? I mean, it is one of the largest, vast, space consuming countries on the planet. But Montreal and Vancouver are like two different worlds. They're on totally opposite sides of the country. One, they speak French, one, they speak English mostly, right? It's big city versus kind of country. I mean, there's all kinds of differences. You better know that. You know what I mean? And why do you want to move to Canada? Because you're going to get asked that question too. And it better not just be, oh, I think it would be awesome to live there. You better have some detailed reasons. Guys, it cannot just be because it sounds cool. Because you know what we hear as people on our side? Oh, he's a grass is greener on the other side of the hill guy. That's what we hear. Harsh truth, maybe. But read my blog if you want. It's on Project Help You Grow. You can find it. It's called How to Land a Job in a Foreign Country. All right. Can you please review my profile? Unfortunately, we're out of time, so I'm sorry about that. We don't have time for more. And Innocent, I'm sorry, we don't have time for more. Come back in 2 weeks. We'll do the show again. 2 weeks, we'll get you guys next time. Yeah, I'm sorry. But hopefully, the advice I've given to the others, you can look at your own
Yeah.
profiles introspectively and go, okay, this is advice that they gave that I can. Could it be 2 part-time jobs? And see, here's a problem. I don't know who this is. I'm going to find out real quick. Yumi Choi. All right, Yumi Choi. There's a setting on LinkedIn you want to open up, and basically you want to allow third parties to view your stuff. Because let's say you're a job seeker right now,
Yep.
and I'm a recruiter. I can't see your profile photo. That's a problem. Now, I can see it on LinkedIn, but I can't see it on this, right? But you want to make sure everybody can see it because you don't want anybody to see that gray box, right? So open up your security settings. Again, what are you sharing on LinkedIn that's a secret? If it's nothing, then there's no reason to hide it. If there is something you're sharing that's secret, you might want to consider your strategy and change that. Be like, okay. All right, how do you pin skills? Good question. I'll get to that next time. I'm sorry, we were just out of time. Robert Nelson is my friend. He is the mayor of a town in Texas. Courage saying, please, as this section is being recorded, kindly make a link available. It is being recorded, and it's on YouTube all the time. It'll always be on my LinkedIn profile, but it's on YouTube. So go to my YouTube channel and check this out. Let me share a screen. I didn't even tell this to James, but Ask Ira is on projecthelpyougrow.com, and we have the show right here. So this is the first episode last 2 weeks ago. The second show is going to go right here. So go to Project Help You Grow, go over to Ask Ira, and there you go. You'll be able to watch this forever. All right. Good question. Hello, Catherine. And this one says, good luck. Is that the same? I don't know who that is yet. And hello. Okay. Whew. 6 minutes and seconds. Not too bad. I'm sorry for the overtime here, James, but we got a little long-winded. But look, I think we gave a lot of really good
Yep.
advice. So I'm excited. James, I want you, if you don't mind, just like 60 seconds, give people a little bit of a synopsis of what professional services you offer so that if they want to hire you, they might they might hire you. And while you do that, I will share once again, if you guys have not seen it, here is James Kennedy on LinkedIn. This is his profile. Now he's got a great photo. He's going to fix that. He's already committed, and I said I was going to help him. I'll make one for him. But James, what can the good folks, if they're watching and they want to hire you professionally, how can you help them?
So, okay, thank you for that, Ira. So basically, I am an executive career coach. I'm the HR director for a consultancy out in Texas,
Yeah,
and I'm
buddy. Our
also
friend, our friends over at Thurman Co.
yes, hi Angela, right? And I've also set up my own recruitment agency as well because what I found is whether as a HR director, I've seen the recruitment process from the other side, right? And I know how painful it is to the hiring managers looking through CVs and resumes that have nothing to do with the job. Okay. So I'm looking at just like what you're trying to do, Iris. I'm trying to be this connector in the middle, helping people, but also helping companies find the right people. Because I believe that there's so many amazing people out there that are that are great at the job, but they don't know how to market themselves. All right, so there's a lot of untapped talent that are great at what they do, but they're not good at that. So I believe that what I'm doing here is helping people find jobs, but also helping companies connect them with theirs. So I'm trying to do a bit of everything at the moment because of all the pain points I've been through.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And check this out. Where did it go? Here we go. For those of you who want to see it, this is his logo.
Yes, there it is. Right. I mean, thank you, Ira, for all your help and do that. In terms of what I do, if you're looking for somebody serious, I'm not the serious person. I love having fun. I like enjoying myself, right? And I believe that you can have fun and get the results you want, and that's what I do, and that's what I help. And thank you very much to Ira. This shows a lot of my personality and what I wanted to come out. So thank you for all your
Yeah,
help.
and for those of you who are wondering, yes, this is flashed on purpose. This is like the cape, the superhero cape was the kind of
Yes,
the concept
indeed.
there.
Right.
But right, we wanted to make sure he's going to help you come across as a superstar. Right,
That's
that's
it. Yeah.
that's the
Because we
idea.
need to believe it first. We need to believe it first in our values so that it comes out in the documents we send out, but also in the attitude and when you go into the interview as well. Because getting the interview is just half the battle. You still need to close the deal. So the person that you've put on paper needs to come and reflect the person that comes in the door as well. Because as a
Man,
hiring manager, I've been in there where the resume looks amazing, but the person coming through the door is like a completely different person, and it's a waste of everybody's time.
you have to do three things. Okay, job seekers, it's a three-legged race. The first thing is you have to get found. So they have to know you exist. Then you have to get through the ATS and the screening round above the cut line is the second thing. So the first thing is to get found. The second thing is to make it above the cut line so you get the interview. And then you've got to win the interview. So I've written another blog called Winning the Interview, and I give out it's a 10-step process, detailed. So check that out. But yeah, getting to the interview is good, but you don't make any money yet, right? You only make money if you get through all three phases. You have to win the interview, and it takes a lot of work. So this is one of those things. It's not for the faint of heart. James already said it earlier that a lot of people are lazy, which helps you honestly as a job seeker if you just put in a little bit of
You stand out.
concentrate concentrated effort. You will start to do much better. Especially, and we haven't talked about this, but in the old days there were stretch jobs and people were applying for jobs that really they weren't quite qualified for, but they were confident they could do it. And in today's economy, I'm telling people it's not really yet quite time to go back to stretch job mentality. You should be applying for jobs that you're realistically at least 90% qualified on paper to do. And you can support that on paper, right? But as the pendulum swings back more and more in the job seeker's favor, then it will become more and more likely that you can land some of these stretch jobs again. But if you're applying for jobs and you're not getting a call to interview, you've got one of two problems. A, your resume or your cover letter is not formatted correctly, right? So you're not catching their attention. Or you're applying to jobs that you have no business applying to right now because you're not qualified. It's one or the other. And I know that's hard to hear, right? but it's the truth. Those are the only two reasons, because you're not making the cut line. Other people are obviously more qualified than you are, and go back 6 months ago, a year ago, and that was really, really the problem with most people. It wasn't that they weren't qualified for the job. It's just so many applications were coming in for every job. It was really, really hard to make the cut line. So you had to hire somebody like James or talk to somebody like Ira and really get help to make sure that you were standing out. Now it's become a little bit easier. So you can do this on your own if you're really putting in the elbow grease, but you still have to put in the elbow grease.
Yes,
Because
indeed.
I'm just going to be completely transparent. I put up a job listing. I didn't even put it up on Project Help You Grow. I didn't have time. I made a post on LinkedIn and said, I'm adding 10 new interns. And in 2 days, I had 55 applicants for, for an internship spot that isn't even paid. This was for a free. I'm trading them, just in full disclosure, I'm trading them 10 hours of work a week. They're going to work for me for 10 hours. And I'm going to give them an hour of training, and I'm going to teach them how to do digital marketing. Right. So that's the trade, but not even a paid internship, an internship. And they get 1 hour, you know what I mean? 55.
Applications.
I just want you guys to think about that.
Yep.
Now imagine that I was paying $80,000 a year. How many more applications would I've got? And I didn't put it up on ZipRecruiter or Indeed. I didn't make a job listing on LinkedIn. I didn't even put it on my own free website, Project Help You Grow. I didn't do any of that. And I got 55 in less than 48 hours. Anyways.
And I guess the question for you, Ira, is do you want to do all that to get another however many on top of the 55, or do you review the 55 you have first and then decide after that, right? Because obviously you need the people now, right? You want them as soon as possible to start.
Yeah. So for me, I didn't even look at resumes. I was looking at their LinkedIn profiles, but
Yep.
I'm actually at the point now where I'm going to be hiring people like you, James, to do the process for me, because I just don't have the time to do it myself.
That's what most people have. That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good question. What do you think about this? So half the recruiters, I'd love to meet the half that say it's not important, because I'm one, what the hell are they thinking? But what do you think, James, on this one?
So you most definitely have to match to ATS, and using the words that they, the whole point, of my perspective, the whole point of an ATS is because, Ira, as you quite rightly said, you've had 55 applications in 2 days, and that's just within your network without doing all the additional stuff everyone else, right?
Right.
Most jobs get 200, 300, 500 plus applications. The more prestigious the company, the more thousands of applications you have, right? No human has the time to review every single one of them. Okay.
Even departments of people, right? You could have an HR team that's like 6 deep, and they still don't have the time for that, because
nobody has the time.
They're enterprise at that point. They're an enterprise type company. They got thousands of employees, and they don't have time to deal with it. So here's the bottom line, Catherine. You don't know if the company is using an ATS or not. So you want to always give yourself the best chance to succeed, right? Yep. So you need to make sure it's ATS compliant to give yourself a chance to make the cut line. You always want to be above the cut line, because I don't care. Look, if they're going to interview 15 people and you're number 14, you can still win the job. There's been lots of times where I've pre-ordered based on resumes only who I thought was going to get the job, and then they come in and they suck at the interview. Right? So, you just got to get in the room and give yourself a chance, then and practice on these interviews. But if they do use an ATS, and let me just be clear here, if they're an enterprise company of any size, they're using an ATS. I don't care what a recruiter says. That's stupid. Most medium-sized companies that are 50 employees or above are also using an ATS. You don't know what version. There's 10,000 plus different versions of ATS, by the way. So you don't know what version they're using, but you can pretty much be sure by now most companies, unless it's a startup company, it's a mom and pop type shop organization where they got 5 employees, they're probably not, right? But any company that most of you would want to work for, right? If they're using ZipRecruiter and Indeed, on a regular basis, those, they all have ATSs. So it's really high. But so this one, job scans results, I would take it with a grain of salt. Okay. So this is the main thing, is to make sure that it's not how much you match the keyword. You're talking about keyword match here. Okay. That's not the number one thing. The number one thing is the formatting rules of the ATS. Making sure you're ATS compliant is more about the formatting than it is about the keyword match. Keyword match is important, especially if you want to make sure you're above the cut line. So above 80%, I would say you got a pretty good shot. If you're ATS compliant and you're 80% above on a keyword match, then you probably got a really good shot. What do you think about that, James?
So I completely agree with what you said. What I would add to that is, right, basically the ATS is to sift out the people, to sift down. Basically, they've got maybe 1,000 applications, right?
Yeah.
So they're looking to sift down and figure out which resumes they want to put eyes on and actually see, right? So you can be ATS compliant, but when someone has eyes on your resume, you still need to make it easy for them to connect how you can help them. Right, that's two different things altogether. And I
Well,
see a lot of
yeah,
people
and this is
always blaming ATS, but actually, is what you're writing on the content on your resume connecting to what they need? That's also a
well, and
different
this
question
this is where
altogether.
this is where the 80% is a good sign, right? So if you're going to be 80%, that means you're going in and you're taking that job description because you're going to load that on JobScan and you're going to load your resume, right? You're going to load both. So what we talk about all the time is you want to have a master resume. That's like this is your starter point. But you take that resume for each job submission before you submit it, and you change and you swap out the words from what you have on your resume, your master, and use the terminology that they're using in the job description. And that does exactly what James is talking about. It makes it easier for them to identify where it is that you actually can help. Plus, it increases your keyword match score. So now you go from 80% to 93%. And now you're almost assured to get an interview. Okay. Because if you're ATS compliant and you're 93% match, and there's 300 people, I guarantee you 200 of those 300 aren't even using ATS compliant resumes. They're out. They're gone. And that's the ATS screen will just bump them out. Now you've got 100 competitors. And if you're at a 93% match, what are the odds that more than 14 are above 80%? Probably not great, right? So because people are lazy, they're going to take, most of them are taking that one master resume. And here's an example. I use this all the time. They're looking for a sales associate. Now, most people on the resumes don't like to say sales associate. They'll have like account manager, executive manager, new business development manager, something like that. They like to make it fancy. And they'll go, well, the human being who's looking at this will know that that's the same thing. I don't need to change it. Well, guess what? The human being isn't looking at it. It's being done by AI. So you've got this artificial intelligence that's scanning it. And the artificial intelligence is stupid. It doesn't know similes. It doesn't know synonyms. So just because business development manager, you assume they know what you mean, the computer doesn't know what you mean. You get 0% credit for that match. But if you were to take business development manager and switch it to sales associate, because that's the terminology they used, now you've got a keyword match and your percentage of match will go up. And that's the type of editing that we're talking about doing. We're not talking about fabrication. We're not talking about keyword stuffing. We're talking about taking their terminology and infusing it in your resume where it's appropriate so that you can bump that score. So you don't want to have any big lines. You don't want to have any colors. You don't want to have fonts that are too small. You don't want to have multiple columns. These are all just like generic ATS rules that I don't care what ATS system they're using, they all fit. So what you do is you go in and you find, and jobscan.co, by the way, is a great resource. They have all kinds of ATS compliant stuff on there that you can read for free on generalities. Because again, every ATS system is different, and there's over 10,000 of them, and you don't know which one they're using. Even if they're using Taleo, which is the number one in Europe and the United States, but it's only like 19-20% of companies use those, right? But there's all kinds of them that are in use. So if you can use the standardized ATS formatting rules and increase your keyword match, you really got a good shot, as long as you're applying the jobs you're actually qualified for, right? So you got to take all this into consideration. And then the other thing that we didn't talk about with this was also location. Where are you applying from and for? So if you're in, Germany and you're applying for a job in Canada, even if you're a 93% match, they might decide not to interview you because they've got 45 qualified candidates who are local. So one of the strategies to come back to that other, how do you find a job in a foreign country? Look for a place, if you're trying to move, look for a place where your skill set is in high demand and can't be satisfied by the local workforce.
Yeah.
You got a much better shot of getting somebody investing that money for the visa. That James, and I'm not a visa expert either, so I can't give you advice on that, but I can just tell you that supply and demand is an economic principle for a reason, right? When it's in high demand, people will pay a higher price for that thing, no matter what good or service we're talking about. So, anyways, with that, that's the last question, James. So we're going to get out of here. 22 minutes overtime. Thank you so much for coming. Again, guys, if you have not connected with James, please do so. He is a wealth of knowledge, and he's just a heck of a lot of fun to hang around. And I look forward to helping you create the cover letter, brother. So, or I'm sorry, the cover artwork.
There we go. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'll get you something thrown together, and then you let me know what you want it changed, and I'll change it. And we'll do it just like we did the logo. It'll be fun.
Thank you.
All right, brother. See y'all next time. Have a great week. We will be back in 2 weeks. Every other Wednesday, we're doing a show. So not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. Hopefully, Lisa will be recovered from her COVID. She'll stay out of the YMCA. And then I'll give her some Tom Brady smack talk when she comes back. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much.